Stokk the Broken is here, and along with it, the Fusion calendar. So we're going to take a look at it and figure out the most effective way to handle this Fusion. Hey guys, finally he sleeps, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Make sure you subscribe here and never miss when these videos go live. There's a lot going on right now. We have the new Fusion that is here. We also have the He-Man, the Universes collab. That's going to be a separate video. But today we're going to take a look at the calendar here for Stokk the Broken. And if you don't know, this Fusion is big. In my opinion, it's the biggest Fusion of 2024. Poison Exploder, he brings so many different things. If you haven't checked him out, you need to check him out. He looks fantastic. He's in the stockade. That's where the name comes from, if you haven't figured that out yet. He busted out of the stock, and he's stuck there with his head in it. It's a broken stock. Yeah, okay. So getting into it, let's take a look at the Fusion. Let's do, where's the calendar? Here it is. Okay. So what they always do when they drop these Fusions is they kind of bait you into, oh, the Fusion is here, start. And if you go into it right away, like I'm going to start pumping Fire Knight and getting my points because I need these fragments, you're going to be missing out. So all this is, it's about stacking so that you're most efficient with what you're doing. And that means do not start Fire Knight until Dungeon Divers unlocks tomorrow, because you want to double up on everything that you can. So the Fire Knight you're going to hold until day 2. So right now you're going to jump into champion training, but don't use the campaign. If you have brews, you have stuff that's already set up to be able to rank. If you're going to rank your different things here, let's just go to, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if we're in game and we go to the tavern, what you can do here is if you have 5-star food, if you've got stuff that you've taken into 5 stars and you want to add some points here, what we do in this case is brews. So for 5-star, I always throw 4 brews into all 5-star food. That jumps it to level 20, 114 tournament points out of that. So if you've got a lot of brews, if if you're farming clan boss every day and you have a stockpile on brews, this is a good place to use it. 4 for every 5-star champion food piece. This is stuff you're going to burn into something else. If you have, like let's say legendaries that you've picked up, like I picked up HELLAPAIN in the last event. I can't remember what it was. If you're going to max out brew some of this stuff, now's the time to do it. Don't farm over in campaign for this first champion training. And the reason being is because we're not gaining any points towards Dungeon Divers by doing campaign farming yet. So we're only working with the tavern until Dungeon Divers opens up. Then, by all means, start training through campaign. Do all of your champion training. And don't forget, train your food. The kind of my rule of thumb is for 5-star food, I always just run 4 brews. For 4-star food, if I have the brews, I will throw 3 brews into 4-star food. If I'm not, I will run 3 12-6 campaign runs on the 4-star food. 3 stars, I'll run 2 runs through campaign. And then for 2-star and 1-star, depending on where the points breakdown is in champion training, I may run them through 1 time in 12-6 just for the points. But determine whether it's more important for you to use the brews or the energy. Which do you have more of? Which is harder to come by, especially if you're free to play. So that's what we're going to wait on until Dungeon Divers 1 opens up. Dungeon Divers 1, if you've got still room to go after Fire Knight is complete, Spider Tournament is going to overlap, which will be nice. And you can finish out Dungeon Divers 1 with Spider. That's going to be fine. And then once Dungeon Divers 1 is done, it may benefit you if the timing is right and you've got it to stop on Spider Tournament until Dungeon Divers 2 opens up. But there's only a very small few-hour window between the two, so it's risky. It's very risky if you've got the points. You know, I would get my fragments from Spider Tournament 1, and then when the second Dungeon Divers opened up, if there's some extra resources in Spider, I might grab them in that last couple of hour overlap between the two. But that's it. You're going to use all of your Fire Knight and Spider Tournament coins that you're gaining from selling all of the unwanted gear to finish out Artifact Enhancement 1. So here we are all the way through week 1, and this stuff is all pretty straightforward. No special thing, nothing to worry about. We don't have any summon or champion chase until next weekend. Friday, champion chase unlocks. Now remember, in champion chase, you get credit for old fusions, that if you have anything where fragments are sitting there, you have stuff that you can collect or claim. That's where you might want to use some of your fusion champs if you've been farming towards the reusable fusion champs from like campaign runs and that kind of stuff. Like if you're Relicar, any of that kind of stuff, you can gain points by fusing those epics. You get points towards champion chase. That one's not just shards. So the best thing you're going to do is to hold as many shards from that as you can, because we do have a summon rush at the very end, and it's a shorter summon rush. It's over the weekend, over the following weekend. It's not as big as this champion chase. This champion chase is 4 days long, so you've got plenty of time to get there through that champion chase. Classic Arena Takedown, that is a must earn. Those are easy points. It's just a matter of playing. And then on Sunday, Dungeon Divers 2 unlocks, and that's the one we talked about where if you've got some Spider stuff left over, some resources in Spider, you might be able to do that in the very beginning. But then you're going to wait. You're not going to do anything in that Dungeon Divers until Ice Golem opens. Avoid dungeons. If you do anything, you might be running campaign to build food for the next champion training event. And you can earn some, you can pull some rares out of campaign runs, if anything, but you're going to wait on Dungeon Divers until Ice Golem unlocks and gain most of your Dungeon Divers points from Ice Golem. If at any point you get stuck on Dungeon Divers events, the best and easiest, quickest points is always from Spider. To run Spider, level 20, that's kind of the go-to for that. Spider 10 or 20 preferably. Artifact Enhancement level 2, which is another event. That's going to be easy because you're earning all these coins from all these other events. Just make sure you have enough set aside to be able to complete that. And then as Dungeon Divers 2 ends, there's a break before Dungeon Divers 3, but Dungeon Divers 3 releases at the exact same time as the Dragon Tournament, which means you can double those up pretty simply, and then you have the Champion Training event on it as well. Now remember, when the Champion Training event releases on Wednesday, you're only going to want to use your brews and your tavern stuff for Champion Training. Don't start farming campaign until Dungeon Divers 3 unlocks along with Dragon. Another Classic Arena Takedown 2. That one's super simple. We just have to play it. And then the last 3 days of the event, you have Artifact Enhancement 3 and Summon Rush, along with Dungeon Divers, Champion Training, Dragon Tournament, and Classic Arena Takedown. That overlap there at the very end is going to be big. That is going to be a mad rush to get the rest of these points. And then that Summon Rush at the very end is for 15 points. Those are going to be necessary unless you've kind of come in and collected everything without the tournament totals. There's 130. We have 130 points available. You only need 100 to claim Stokk the Broken. 20 of those are from tournament leaderboards. So if you go in and you get lucky in one of those tournaments, there is the Champion Training Tournament and the Champion Chase Tournament. Those two tournaments have leaderboard rewards. So if you finish in the top 3 in either of those and you somehow end up lucky enough to claim some extra points there, if you get an extra 10 or 5 from each of those tournaments or one of those tournaments, and you collect everything else coming through, that summon rush at the end may not be necessary. But that's only if you've completed one of those two champion chase or champion training with leaderboard rewards. Then summon rush is null and void. Otherwise, you're going to have to at least get the first 5 from summon rush to be able to complete this. Normally with the summon rush on that, we have 5 and a 10 point. The 5 points the easier to grab, and then the 10 points the harder to grab. So if you do everything, you might not need to use all of the shards to grab the second 10. You would have enough to be able to claim it, because you're looking at 110 available total. Or you skip a couple of things. I never skip. I always come down to the end, because even if we have extra fragments, extra pieces, they go towards summoning that other mythical. So that's it. This looks like a pretty easy one. There's no crazy stuff going on here. It is 2 weeks long. We're going to push this all the way out to December 9th. This is a fusion that you should not skip. You want this. This is definitely one to grab for the year. I'm FinallyHeSleeps. Make sure you subscribe here on the channel so you never miss one of these videos go live. As long as you guys keep showing up, I'll keep making videos.